Okay, people, so we finally have some insights, some news, and all around some stuff to discuss for the upcoming Dragon Ball film that's supposed to be dropping at the end of this year. We actually have a release date and some comments from the man himself, the myth, the legend, the greatness that is Akira Toriyama, the creator of Dragon Ball. A lot of different things that were discussed in regards to, what's going to be going on. I think there's even some interviews on it. I might talk about that in another video, though, but yeah. Toriyama's been on it, and he's been talking, and some interesting stuff. So without further ado, for starters, let's talk about the release date. I believe the release date is December 14th, 2018 in Japan. So obviously, unless they do some really cool thing, which I would love it, and they simultaneously release it worldwide, it's probably going to be that we won't see it until maybe the following month, which is still great, considering the fact that back in the days we had to wait like 10 years, to get this stuff, and it'd be like an arm and a leg. We'll get it, and it'll more than likely be in theaters. Hopefully there's some cool stuff going on this summertime where maybe I can bring you guys a good look into what's happening on the red carpet, depending on what's going on. But December 14th is the release date. Now, without further ado, let's read a little bit of what the man himself said regarding this film. The Dragon Ball Super movie this time around. Hold up. All right, we already gotta take a look at what he said. The Dragon Ball Super movie. So this is definitely going to be already right there. Bam, information on it. It's gonna be a Dragon Ball Super film. It's not gonna be Dragon Ball Z or just Dragon Ball. Like they did. I think it was Dragon Ball Z Battle of Gods, and then they did, what was it? Dragon Ball Fukatsu no F, or was it Dragon Ball Z Fukatsu no F? I want to say they still had the Z. I'm not 100% sure though, but this is definitely going to be a super movie if the man himself is referring to it as a super movie. So more than likely it'll be within continuity of the story as well, so we don't got to worry about potentially it being something that's totally irrelevant to everything that we've went through these past few years since Dragon Ball came in 2015. It'd be like, oh, a movie, but it's nothing to do with what we're hype about right now. Okay, so carrying on again, the Dragon Ball Super movie this time around will be the next story that takes place after the anime that's currently on TV. Oh wow, I'm guessing there's a possibility here, and this is totally theory territory right here, because I like to get my input. Who knows, maybe this was originally going to be an arc for the anime, and they decided, you know what, how about we take a break with the anime, do a big movie, get more people back in, and who knows, maybe they'll come back with another series again. So possibly that's what it is, and I'm guessing almost 100%, I want to say, because if this is about Saiyans, that much we know, this is going to be the Planet Saddle, Salada, whatever arc that we've been, wanting to see for a while, ever since Vegeta and Kaba met, and Vegeta was like, oh, I'm gonna go to your home someday. Kaba said, yo, come through one time, you know what I'm saying? So that's more than likely going to be the case. And again, I'm thinking possibly this was going to be the next arc in the anime, and they said, screw it, let's do a movie, but let's carry on. The content will shed a little light on previously unexplored topics having to do with Frieza and the Saiyans. Okay, let's analyze that real quick. So Frieza's going to be a big deal yet again. I think that's going to be a little bit of a turnoff potentially, depending on how much of a relevant role Frieza has. That's kind of making me wonder a lot of different things, and we can theorize about this all day, and I'm probably going to have a video talking about all this all day because there's a lot to talk about right here. But Frieza, it makes me wonder, wait, is it going to be that everything is unresolved at the end of the anime and they're going to cliffhanger it, and that's why Frieza's going to be around? Is Frieza going to be around because they're saying, again, this is having topics to do with Frieza and the Saiyans? Frieza's probably still going to be around unless once again they go back to hell, he dies and goes back to hell at the end of the anime, and then what I'm saying, so possibly Frieza's gonna get his way. If Universe 7 gets the win in the end, he might get his way, and Frieza, this could be spoiling, in a sense, the end of the anime if he's going to be around, so that's kind of interesting there. And I think it will be a very enjoyable story that serves up a long-awaited, formidable opponent. That is interesting as well. Maybe at the end of Dragon Ball, because again, if you follow what's going on or whatever, who knows? Because as of right now, where it stands in the Tournament of Power, as we're waiting for episode 130, it's Frieza is under some rubble somewhere, and Goku and Jiren going at it. We don't know what's going to happen exactly, because obviously we haven't seen the episodes. We got to see the episodes before we could completely judge it and throw the shit out the window. You know what I'm saying? We gotta see the episodes. Frieza potentially could have a huge role. Who knows? Maybe Frieza has been taking notes this entire time and he learns Ultra Instinct himself and he'll be a formidable opponent. Or it could be something even historical. What if something to do with the Frieza race? Because remember, if there's a Frieza race, who knows? Maybe there's a planet of these motherfuckers that are just really strong. Maybe the leader of the Frieza race is somewhere and maybe they all shackled up or something. There's so many possibilities that they could do. But if this is something to do with Frieza and the history with the Saiyans and shit, maybe it's going to be even more more deep-rooted. Maybe Frieza won't necessarily be the main villain. Maybe it'll be Frieza's grandfather or something. Or maybe it'll be the dude from the Bardock special that Bardock had to go Super Saiyan to take out, what was his name, Chilled? Where he had the little pot belly or something like that. Maybe it could be him coming back, or somebody that he has something to do with. They'll make the episode of Bardock thing canon. I don't know. There's so many possibilities again, but Frieza being involved, that's where it's looking like. Next up, with 2013's Battle of Gods, the previous installment, Resurrection F, and now this time too, I've been the one writing the stories. Bam! That's something that I absolutely wanted to hear, so I can say they're still bringing Toriyama along. He's still gonna bring in, because I'm one of those people that, don't get me wrong, I love seeing the fists flying. I love seeing Goku and everybody throwing down, but I also enjoy some of Toriyama's comedy. I like some of the subtle moments sometimes, depending on what they're doing. You know, sometimes they go a little left field, but I like stuff like that too, and that's something that Toriyama brings very heavily into the story with his, you know, initial thoughts and drafts that he usually hands in and whatnot. So it's going to be interesting to see with Toriyama being involved again. It's going to be kind of par for the course like what they've done with the anime. I'm imagining he handed a draft. Here, this is what I think should happen in the film. Point A, Goku does this. Point B, Vegeta does this. Point C, the villain does this. This is how it ends. Something along the lines of that, with obviously a lot more detail, I'd imagine. I'm not, you know, going to say, hey, this man is just writing it on a tiny piece of paper. The movie title, this is what happens. Here you go. Where's my millions? I don't think it works like that, but then again, you never know. I want to see those fucking napkins or those papers or whatever the fuck he's writing on. I've also been drawing quite a few things for them, like design illustrations. I'm actually as busy as ever, and if I wasn't serializing anything, I'd have time to think about the anime, with which I used to not have enough time to be involved. So yeah, because he's not working on the manga, he's had time to work, you know, hands-on with the anime. Some people will say, well, that's not a good sign. If he was working hands-on in the anime, there's a lot of problems with the anime that a lot of people really can't stand. So, but with a movie, there's a lot of people that are going to oversee every aspect of it. Also, with the anime coming to a halt for the time being, until, again, if they decide to do something else, it gives a good opportunity for everybody to chill out, regroup, and yo, we got this deadline for this, you know, however 90-minute film. Let's work very intensely on that, and Toriyama being involved. I mean, Battle of Gods was a really awesome film, especially for a return to this world that we all love so much, this universe, or these universes at this point. It was a nice breath of fresh air. Resurrection F, bringing in Frieza, I think Frieza was done so much better in the Tournament of Power. I think Resurrection F really, not necessarily mischaracterized, but definitely made Frieza seem pathetic. In comparison to the badass that we got in the Tournament of Power, I'm looking like, bro, what are you doing? So on that note, I very much hope you look forward to it. By the way, I think the highly popular Dragon Ball Super manga, drawn by Toyotaro, is going to see some developments different from the TV anime or movies. So please look forward to that. Be sure to check it out too. Now, I'm kind of curious when this was taken, these comments from him. Was it like within the past month? Was it in the past year? I'm kind of curious, because, you know, they do plan a lot of these things ahead of time for the most part. Sometimes they just wing it, but, you know, they usually plan these things. So he's saying that he thinks the manga is going to have some very different developments from the anime or the movie. So one, maybe there's going to be a manga version of it that Toyotaro is going to do of the movie. Two, I'm kind of curious what he means by that, in the sense of, like, is there going to be something drastic by the end of the series? Like, maybe the way the actual outcome of the tournament happens, not necessarily like the winner, but like maybe the final blast or something along the lines of that, or maybe something that a character does is going to be different, the forms, a lot of different things that they can go with and play around with. But this has definitely been interesting and pretty insightful for the upcoming Dragon Ball movie. Again, it's a Dragon Ball Super movie, we can definitely confirm. I do think that there's going to be quite a few people that are going to have a problem with Frieza yet again being the topic of discussion, or the topic of the main focus of this upcoming film, because again, he's going to be a part of it. But to be honest with you, I think there's a possibility that it won't necessarily have to do with Frieza himself, but maybe his race, maybe King Cold's father is going to come through, or maybe they're going to bring Cooler back in and have him be canon. There's so many possibilities, and it also again makes me wonder, and I guess I want to start asking you guys, like, do you think that that confirms Frieza is going to come back to life and maybe go off, and then in this arc they're gonna, you know, kind of revisit it, and Frieza's gonna come back for his revenge? Also, what do you think about this film taking place after the Tournament of Power? I mean, there's a lot of different things you got to think about with this film and what we know. It's a Dragon Ball Super movie. It's gonna be focusing on the Saiyans and Frieza. Toriyama's working hands-on with it. A lot of different things. And your overall thoughts, I ain't gonna lie, I'm excited. It's Dragon Ball. We're losing Super. Let's at least be hype about this damn movie. But that's all I have for this one. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you liked anything I had to say or enjoyed the video, drop me a like. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you want more from me, make sure to subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and stalk my Facebook to get more when the video ends. I'm Fineb World. And as always, people, have an awesome day. And remember the golden rule. Anime and manga for life, boy. Bow. Have an awesome day.